Show. And we're in for another week of amazing commentary. Just a question. Do you know someone suffering from Trump unacceptance and resistance disorder? TURD for short? Know the signs, spot the symptoms, and save a life. TURD is a pattern of pathologically dissociative and psychotic behavior, first observed in the late hours of November 8, 2016, and increasing in severity with passing time. Sufferers of TURD often exhibit a pronounced cognitive dissonance, sudden bouts of rage, rioting, and uncontrollable crying. People with TURD are characterized by a persistent unwillingness to accept that Donald Trump is going to make America great again. And TURD is caused by the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States of America. For many, both in America and worldwide, this was a shocking and unexpected outcome. Their preferred news sources having failed to inform them that the alternative candidate was a criminal parasite in such ill health she got chucked into the back of a van like a kidnap victim. Research is ongoing, but TURD appears to correlate closely with the following environmental and behavioral factors: membership in the Democrat Party, identifying as a feminist, currently enrolled in college and/or possession of a liberal arts college degree, living in a densely populated metropolitan area, massive student debt, spotty or non-existent work history. Patients with TURD are very resistant to treatment and dangerous in large groups. Any possibility of treatment requires that they be separated from their hive mind support apparatus. They cannot begin the process of accepting reality in the presence of encouragement towards delusion and irrationality. Separation may require the assistance of law enforcement. If you have a friend or loved one suffering from TURD, urge them to seek treatment. Together we can beat this scourge and make America great again. It's our patriotic duty. Now, that's just one thing. But then I read a little bit about the swamp. And it's Exhibit A. Is there just a little corruption in D.C.? This explains it all. From 2001 to 2005, there was an ongoing investigation into the Clinton Foundation. A grand jury had been impaneled. Governments from around the world had donated to the charity. Yes, from 2001 to 2003, none of those donations to the Clinton Foundation were declared. Now, would you think that an honest investigator would be able to figure this out? Guess who took over this investigation in 2002? Bet you can't guess. No other than James Comey. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Guess who was transferred into the Internal Revenue Service to run the tax exemption branch of the IRS? Your friend and mine, Lois, be on the lookout, Lerner. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Gets better. Well, not really, but this is all just a series of strange coincidences, right? Guess who ran the tax division inside the Department of Injustice from 2001 to 2005? No other than Assistant Attorney General of the United States, Rod Rosenstein. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Guess who was the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation during this time frame? I know it's a miracle, just a coincidence, just an anomaly in statistics and chances. Robert Mueller. What do all four casting characters have in common? They all were briefed and or were frontline investigators into the Clinton Foundation investigation. Now that's just a coincidence, right? Okay, let's chalk the last one up to mere chance. Let's fast forward to 2009. James Comey leaves the Justice Department to go and cash in at Lockheed Martin. Hillary Clinton is running the State Department on her own personal email server, by the way. The Uranium One issue comes to the attention of the Hillary. Like all good public servants do, looking out for America's best interest, she decides to support the decision and approve the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium to no other than the Russians. Now you would think that this is a fairly straight-up deal, except it wasn't. The people got absolutely nothing out of it. However, prior to the sales approval, no other than Bill Clinton goes to Moscow, gets paid $500K for a 1-hour speech, then meets with Vladimir Putin at his home for a few hours. Okay, no big deal, right? Well, not so fast. The FBI had a mole inside the money laundering and bribery scheme. Guess who was the FBI director during this time frame? Yep, Robert Mueller. He even delivered a uranium sample to Moscow in 2009. Guess who was handling that case within the Justice Department out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland? No other than Rod Rosenstein. Guess what happened to the informant? The Department of Justice placed a gag order on him and threatened to lock him up if he spoke out about it. Now, how does 20% of the most strategic asset of the United States of America end up in Russian hands when the FBI is an informant, a mole providing inside information to the FBI on the criminal enterprise? Guess what happened soon after the sale was approved? $145 million in donations made their way into the Clinton Foundation from entities directly connected to the Uranium One deal. Guess who is still at the Internal Revenue Service working the charitable division? No other than Lois Lerner. Okay, that's all just another series of coincidences. Nothing to see here, right? Let's fast forward to 2015. Due to a series of tragic events in Benghazi, and after the 9 investigations, the House, Senate, and at State Department, Trey Gowdy, who was running the 10th investigation as chairman of the Select Committee on Benghazi, discovers that the Hillary ran the State Department on an unclassified, unauthorized, outlaw personal email server. He also discovered that none of those emails had been turned over when she departed her public service. as Secretary of State, which was required by law. He also discovered that there was top secret information contained within her personally archived email. Sparing you the State Department's cover-up, the nostrums they floated, the delay tactics that were employed, and the outright lies that were spewed forth from the necks of the Kerry State Department, we shall leave it with this: they did everything humanly possible to cover for Hillary. Now this is amazing. Guess who became FBI director in 2013? Are you guessing? Guess who secured 17 no-bid contracts for his employer, Lockheed Martin, with the State Department, and was rewarded with a $6 million thank you present when he departed his employer? No other than James Comey. Amazing how all those no bids just went right through at State, huh? Now he is the FBI director in charge of the Clinton email investigation, after, of course, his FBI investigates the Lois Lerner matter at the Internal Revenue Service and exonerates her. Nope, couldn't find any crimes there. Can you guess what happened next? In April 2016, James Comey drafts an exoneration letter of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Meanwhile, the DOJ is handing out immunity deals like candy. They didn't even convene a grand jury. Like a lightning bolt of statistical impossibility, like a miracle from God himself, like the true gangster homie is, James steps out into the cameras of an awaiting press conference on July the 8th of 2016 and exonerates the Hillary from any wrongdoing. Can you see the pattern? It goes on and on. Rosenstein becomes Assistant Attorney General. Comey gets fired based upon a letter by Rosenstein. Comey leaks government information to the press. Miller is assigned to the Russian investigation sham by Rosenstein to provide cover for decades of malfeasance within the FBI and the DOJ, and the story continues. FISA abuse, political espionage, pick a crime, any crime. Chances are the group and a few others did it. All the same players, all compromised and conflicted, all working fervently to not go to jail themselves, all connected in one way or another to the Clintons. They are like battery acid. They corrode and corrupt everything they touch. How many lives have these two destroyed? As of this writing, the Clinton Foundation, in its 20-plus years of operation, of being the largest international charity fraud in the history of mankind, has never been audited by the Internal Revenue Service. Let us not forget that Comey's brother works for DLA Piper, the law firm that does the Clinton Foundation's taxes. So, now you know all about the Clinton Foundation and the other 4 people that support that criminal activity. Now, there's another thing that we should be talking about, and that is Planned Parenthood is promoting sex for children as healthy, and they are heavily influencing our schools. So the public school system is already grooming children for sex even before the pimps get a hold of them. I'll have some more on that in a few seconds, and in the meantime, enjoy the commercials, and we'll see you back in just a few seconds.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
For taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot.
For leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Center Right Radio is looking for new programming? Contact us today at centerright.live. Center Right Radio is now accepting new advertisers. Get in touch with us today at centerright.live.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/AZ. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for listening to Center Right Radio.
Blues in Chicago, Chicago, the town that Billy Sunday couldn't shut down.
Okay, we're back. And was talking about Planned Parenthood promoting sex. And this is the following is from a Newsweek article posted on 1/12/18. The frequency of child sex abuse is a true epidemic. Since at least 2000, the U.S. Department of Justice has reported that some 67% of all sexual assaults are committed against victims under 18 years old. Here's the ugly truth. Most Americans who are victims of sex trafficking come from our nation's own foster care system. It's a deeply broken system that leaves thousands vulnerable to pimps as children and grooms them for the illegal sex trade as young adults. Most people don't know about our nation's foster care to sex trafficking pipeline. but the facts are sobering. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the NCMEC, found that of the more than 18,500 endangered runaways reported to NCMEC in 2016, 1 in 6 were likely victims of child sex trafficking. Of those, 86% were in the care of social services when they went missing. The essential failure is how we care for these children. As NCMEC's CEO told Congress in 2013, children in foster care are easy targets for pimps. They are the most susceptible to the manipulation and false promises that traffickers use to secure their trust and dependency. These children have fractured safety nets and few alternatives. We need law enforcement consistently prosecuting those who fail to report child abuse and runaways in a timely manner so we can find them before the pimps do. From cases of child abuse victims I have represented, I can name dozens of adults who knew of abuse in institutional care but failed to report it. Not one of them was arrested, even when I asked law enforcement to do it. And we must fire child welfare officials accountable for their role. I have never seen an official be fired in any case. In fact, I've seen one responsible official get a job promotion. The source was www.newsweek.com/we have set system sex traffic America 9541. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. The corruption in government is so bad. It's amazing. I have been looking at a new site on the internet, and while I think some of their articles are way off base, there is a basis of truth to most of it. It's called Starship Earth. And it's got some truths out there, and it's also got some off-the-wall stuff. But basically, if you look at what they're trying to say and what they do say, it does make a big difference in how you think about what's going on in the government and in life in general. The politicians and their funders, which are the lobbyists and the special interests and so on, are really sufferers of the turd syndrome that I talked about earlier. And they're doing what they're doing because their entire fund fountain is threatened. The election of Mr. Trump really threw a monkey wrench into the workings of the government. And that's a good thing for the American people. Just think of all the new jobs, all the companies coming back, all the money coming back from overseas. And then we have people like Nancy Pelosi talking about, well, we're going to take over the Congress again, and we're going to raise taxes on everybody, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to ruin the country, basically, is what she's saying. And there's enough people out there who will vote for these fools and get them back into, or try to get them back into office, because they can't stand a real American like Mr. Trump. It's a shame. And it's time that we, as Americans, got off our duffs and got to work, because it can't wait until the last minute. And we have to make sure that we get the right people in office so they will stick up for us as opposed to the politicians and their bosses. So you just go ahead and make sure that you get off the couch and keep yourself busy. Get involved and really enjoy making the turd sufferers choke on their own poisons. So anyway, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful year. Lots of stuff to do, and it's going to keep everybody busier than a one-arm paper hanger, and you're going to be very happy when we re-elect the right people and get rid of the wrong ones. All of the establishment bums who are more interested in lining their own pockets than they are in taking care of America. Now, there's another thing. I've been reading some things about the health industry. And I think that we probably should be talking about that. And I do have another segment to fill on that. And we'll be back shortly to fill you in on the medical industry. So we'll see you in a bit, and enjoy it for now.
On State Street, that great street, I just want to say.
From Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. a whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14, 41, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. I realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
I saw a man, he danced with his wife in Chicago, Chicago, my hometown.
Hey there, we're back. And I was going to talk about the medical industry and so on and so forth. I've been reading some things, and this one was had to do with what we consider to be obesity these days, and what is our food industry is leading us to. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you have considered Arnold Schwarzenegger obese during his movie heyday? He's 6'1" and was a chiseled 230 pounds. How about the basketball player LeBron James? He's 6'8" and weighs around 260. Obesity is medically defined by the National Institutes of Health as having a body mass index, a BMI, a measure of height to weight that's 30 or higher. People are considered overweight when their BMI hits 25, and they are obese when it gets to 30. Schwarzenegger's BMI would have been 30.1. James is 29. Anyone would be insane to think they were or are obese. The problem is mainstream medicine doesn't look at the body as a whole, holistic. So the BMI doesn't take into account high muscle mass or too little muscle mass. People who are obese have higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, some cancers, arthritis, and Alzheimer's disease. Obesity also increases the risks of high blood pressure, stroke, gallstones, and gallbladder disease, gout, sleep apnea, Pickwickian syndrome, and osteoarthritis of the knees, hips, and lower back. But please remember that when the medical profession recommends a highly complex carbohydrate, plus low saturated fat diet, they are recommending a high glucose or high sugar diet. The result is high insulin and high weight gain. Then comes what the medical establishment tells you is diabetes, but is really a diet issue that results in all the other symptoms above. Now, a plan for your health is a plan for their profits. Obesity is common, serious, and costly, says the Centers for Disease Control. A study published in the Health Affairs found that obesity rates increased by 37% between 1998 and 2006 in the U.S. A Harvard study showed that in 1990, only 15% of the population in most states was obese. But 20 years later, by 2010, 36 states had obesity rates of 25% or higher, and in 12 of those, the obesity rate was 30% or more. Nearly 4 in 10 Americans are obese. Data from the CDC tells us. Another 1/3 of Americans are considered overweight. The estimated annual cost of obesity in the U.S. was $147 billion in 2008 dollars, $164 billion in today's dollars. Medical costs for obese people averaged $1,429, higher than for people with normal weight. What are these costs? Costs for whom? My contention is that they are telling you you're fat day and night so that you will spend more money on clinics, drugs, surgery, and medical care in order to treat your obesity. The plain fact is that you can be skinny fat and have unhealthy and dangerous visceral fat around your abdomen just the same as if you have much more visible excess fat on your body. You don't want to be visibly obese, but being a healthy weight doesn't mean abiding by the BMI or those mainstream advisors who tell you to stop eating fat and to eat healthy grains instead. Except whatever you buy that is bread related or made with flour, white flour, has so highly processed that it has lost all of its nutrition and is only now a simple carb and forces your body to produce insulin and sugar and forces it into the blood as sugar and raises your sugar levels so that you wind up with type 2 diabetes. And you put on weight like crazy. Losing weight is no easy task, as evidenced by the hundreds, maybe even thousands of weight loss gimmicks, gadgets, diets, programs, and advice materials for sale in stores, on TV and magazines, or on the internet. They wouldn't sell a thing if people weren't desperate. But they are desperate because of the choices for food they are given by the food industry in this country, and they often choose the easiest, cheapest alternative as intended. How do I do it? At its core, losing weight is a very simple matter. You take in the types of foods that enhance health and stay away from the foods that build body fat and excess blood sugar and deposit fat in the blood, triglycerides. That means it's not just taking in more calories than you burn to gain weight and doing the opposite to lose it. What you should not do is stop eating altogether. Crash diets may knock off the pounds quickly, but most people regain the weight almost as fast as it came off. When denied food, the body goes into survival mode, and any food eventually taken is mostly stored as fat the body is saving for the next dry spell. Intermittent fasting, on the other hand, gives the body a break from producing insulin, and that has many proven health benefits, including longevity. Based on findings I uncovered from researchers, from dozens of articles, anecdotes, and published studies, positive bodily events can occur during intermittent fasting. Limits inflammation, reduces oxidative stress and cellular damage, improves circulating blood sugar, enhances metabolic efficiency and body composition, improves insulin and leptin levels, as well as insulin-leptin sensitivity, modulates levels of dangerous visceral fat, enhances energy production and mitochondrial energy efficiency, improves immune function, eliminates sugar cravings as your body adapts to burning fat instead of sugar, promotes human growth hormone production, releases more cholesterol and lowers triglyceride levels, shifts cells from dormant to self-renewal state in immune system regeneration. Aside from not eating occasionally, what you're eating is really more important than how much you're eating. Eat a solid, protein-rich breakfast each day. It helps you feel full and less hungry later in the day. Be aware that most of the foods we buy in packages at the store these days are chock full of obesogens in addition to calories, substances that degrade your health at best and can be life-threatening at worst. And now we're going to have to pay some bills, and so we'll see you back in a few minutes with the rest of the story. So enjoy the commercials.
Great Street, I just want to say, they do things they don't do on Broadway.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot, for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Center Right Radio is looking for new programming? Contact us today at centerright.live. Center Right Radio is now accepting new advertisers. Get in touch with us today at centerright.live.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No, sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them, like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/AZ. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for listening to Center Right Radio.
I saw a man, he danced with his wife in Chicago, Chicago, my hometown.
Well, okay, we're back. And I want to continue this. When I started to look at what was available in the grocery stores, I was kind of shocked. It seems like almost everything that you wanted to buy was filled with high fructose corn syrup. And that is a sugar spiker in your body that's just does a tremendous amount of damage. So that's one of the things you want to watch out for. Anyway, the key is to replace all those tasty but potentially deadly temptations with raw foods. Raw food comes in the form nature created it to be, pure and clean, delivering necessary nutrients without the harmful baggage of man-made processing. So if you just check the packages, that most of the food is packaged in, you'll see high fructose corn syrup or some other thing that it doesn't sound like it's a great deal. In fact, they're even putting ammonia into raw meat now to keep the color from going bad. Start gradually adding more raw fruits and vegetables to your food intake until you are consuming 1/2 to 2/3 of your diet raw. Be sure the raw foods are thoroughly washed. Not only are raw foods healthier for you, but they help you feel full quicker, are more digestible than processed foods, and provide a potent source of protein, vitamins, and minerals. Raw apples, vegetables, fruits, raw meats, eggs, and unpasteurized milk, cream, and butter deliver most of the nutrients you will need for the day. For a complete, healthy way of eating, I've found that the Nutritarian diet created by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, a board-certified family physician with over 25 years' experience practicing nutritional medicine, works effectively. Nutritarian diet involves no calorie counting, no feeling hungry between meals, and uses the principle of nutrient density that allows eating tasty foods that ward off bad health effects like cancer, diabetes, and dementia by keeping hormone levels balanced and normal. Furman recommends our diet to be 80% vegetables, organic, with only 20% meats, preferably free range, and not exposed to GMOs or antibiotics. Besides packaging on the pounds, most of the foods we buy in packages at the store these days are chock full of obesogens in addition to calories. Obesogens are substances that degrade your health at best and can be life-threatening at worst. Trans fat and high fructose corn syrup are just two. Mind over fatter. Losing fat can be as much a matter of the mind as it is of the body. There are other things you can do to lose weight besides just watching what you eat. Here are just a few other tips that can help getting to a healthy weight more productive. Drink lots of water. Replaces sugary drinks, helps you feel full, flushes your system of pollutants, and keeps you hydrated. Eat slowly. Chew food thoroughly. Take a bite and put your fork down. Satisfies your cravings without loading up your belly. Takes about 20 minutes for a hunger signal to be sent to your brain that your belly is full. So if you shovel the food down fast, you can overeat without realizing it. Keep busy. Boredom invites snacking to fill the time and give you a diversion. Don't avoid snacks entirely, but manage what you snack on. If you feel hungry, eat a raw food snack. I like dried apples and sunflower seeds. Keep moving, walk, ride, lift, do yard work, swim, take the stairs, and all of those things will add up. So if you don't want to get diabetes, heart failure, dementia, or many other things, change your diet and watch what you're buying at the store. Stay away from the fast food joints too. Most of them are, well, for instance, the hamburgers have what now they call a thing called pink slime as part of the meat. And it's not exactly sure what it is, but it sure is very healthy. And most of the fast food is fats. So, and not good fats. And French fries and so on and have more calories than you could expect to take by eating an apple or a peach or a pear, and you'll feel much better when you don't have all of that fat around your belly. So, well, we'll see you next week, and have a good week this week, and keep working at getting it active, and start watching your diet so that you don't keel over and die on us. So anyway, we're going to pay some bills, and stay tuned for the Chips and Salsa show, which is coming up just in a few minutes. And we'll see you then.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I'll show you around. I love it, bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues.